My wife and I became members of the school association in '65. And the first thing that we had to do once the association decided to really get serious about a school was to find a site. We ended up on Woodruff Avenue on a nice site that belonged to the Anglican Diocese of Ottawa. And a lot of the parents demographically started to move to the south, to Barrhaven, to the Barrhaven area, etc. and so on. And since the school was too small and had no room to expand really, the playground was too small, it was decided after a lot of aggravating and a lot of prayer to actually buy a site here in Barrhaven. We built the school here 2010.
Well, when I think back of how the Ottawa Christian School has started in the sanctuary of Calvin Christian Reformed Church, and then in rented facilities, and then when we moved to Benjamin, we thought, wow, we've really arrived. And then when I see these facilities here, I think, wow, have we been blessed.
I chose OCS for my children because I wanted a school where the teachers and fellow parents were like-minded in their desires for their children to grow closer to God and be in a very good environment.
We chose to send our children to Ottawa Christian School because we felt very strongly that it was important to have the same values taught in the school as are taught in the home and also in our churches.
So our theme at Ottawa Christian School for this year, celebrating our 50th anniversary, is Our Story in His Story. And what we're aiming to do each and every day here at Ottawa Christian School is let the students know what God's story is and how He calls them to be part of His story, continually emphasizing that God has a story of this world and He calls us to be part of that story. He calls us then, with our lives in a sense, to write redemption history. We then get to be, and our children then are called to be as well, and get to do that here, to be Christ's hands and feet in this world, to be His agents of redemption in this world. So that's what we want to do. We want to spur each other on in that over this course of the year so that we are embedded in God's story and we live out of that story.
It takes a whole community to support a school. And we feel very strongly too that by having more members supporting the school after their children have been finished, that we can keep the tuition costs down. And so that was one of the main reasons that we've sort of stayed members all along, because we feel very strongly it's not just a pay-for-service project, but that it is a community school that you hope that future generations will continue to be excited to attend.
I don't think we have any regrets whatsoever watching our children grow up and becoming strong Christians, and now watching our grandchildren going through it, and it's absolutely fabulous that we're allowed to experience that.
I would say one of my favorite memories of Ottawa Christian School would be the musicals that they had. I found that the effort that went into that, and the enthusiasm of the staff and the enthusiasm of the children, and the musicals were always so glorifying to God, and those were always really special times.
The one word that I would say that describes Ottawa Christian School is generosity. I believe that the teachers are generously giving of themselves every day to build into the lives of the children that are in their care. I believe that the supporting community generously gives of their time and resources to scaffold all of the needs of a school like Ottawa Christian School. It's a ministry. And I believe that God generously has blessed the work of this school by seeing the lives that have been changed by it.
The most satisfying part about having worked in this ministry for this length of time, and it's not only my own children and grandchildren, but it's of my relatives and close friends. Watching this thing grow, this movement grow from, virtually impoverished immigrants that didn't have much money. And now the great satisfaction is to, come and see the children in this building. It's a fabulous blessing.